Hi, I'm the Now Visitor, and you are watching TrekCulture.
Perhaps I am well.
That actually gives me tingles. Like, that's actually.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for asking me to join the pod after meeting you. What a wonderful way of meeting you. I saved you from the sun practically.
You literally did. It was for okay. So for really quick, we were sitting at it was Trek Long Island, which was amazing and well done. Everyone organizing Trek Long Island,
bravo.
incredible. Not their fault that I just happened to choose the seat that was in a direct. I was in a staring contest with the sun.
Oh.
I thought I had it for a second. I really thought I was going to win that.
Anymore. I couldn't watch you suffer anymore. I was like, there's an extra seat. Luckily, come sit over here. Come sit on the cooler side of things, not the brighter side. The brighter side of things was definitely not it.
Yeah, I think like once I moved around to sit beside you and I was looking forward, everyone was in like super duper HD. I've never seen people so brightly lit in my life.
So to give everyone more context, it was a VIP dinner with circle tables, like banquet tables. And I was able to sit at the table that Sean was at, and he was like sitting where the sun set, like it was 6 o'clock dinner time, and the sun was blaring through that one piece of the banquet hall that we were in. And the poor thing, I was like, luckily there was a seat next to me. I was like, please stop talking to me by like trying to glare and smile. And now look at us, we're long lasting friends now.
That's it. I love it. So just the power of being blinded has brought us together, and that makes me very happy. I laugh as well. My poor partner. I mean, I didn't even hesitate leaving him.
No, you're like, absolutely. See you later.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
I'm gonna go sit next to Lynn.
Yeah. I think I actually said it to him. I was like, I just want you to know I don't feel guilty about this, and I just walked around and said.
No, it was a delight to meet you there, and thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it was an absolute pleasure. It was lovely to get to chat to you. I suppose kind of that was because we were talking. I'm trying to remember. You've done the cruise, but was that the first convention you've done? Yes,
this Trek Long Island is my first con on land. So it's like it's a little tomato whether you consider the cruise a con.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think because technically it's the definition of a convention, but there's just something about the fact it's on a boat.
I mean, I've done neither. They were two firsts for me. I've never done a cruise ship, period. Never had a desire to go on a cruise ship, period. And I had never done a convention either. So I've always wanted to do cons, though. So that was the big difference. And I was happy. I'm just thrilled that the fans and the creators and producers of all these different kinds of projects that are all Star Trek are just so welcoming to me. It's been so nice.
It's been, I think, I mean, it's down to just how wonderful T'Lyn has been. Obviously, the way she's written, the way you play her, everything, just an instant iconic character.
Thank you.
Did you, because you've played a couple of voices throughout Lower Decks, but when you were handed, like, okay, this is the new character, T'Lyn, did you know, brilliant, I'm going to be main cast season 4, season 5, I'm going to be like probably the most famous and popular character in all of Star Trek history? Really?
You think so? I don't know about that. I mean, do you want to be my manager? Do you want to rep me?
Okay, well,
100%. Great.
Actually, yeah. Okay, we now bring the podcast to an end because now we have business discussions.
No, I would never leave Derek at Cool Waters Productions for sure. He's the best. Doug Jones introduced me to Derek, and I will never leave Derek. He's the best with being my manager. But listen, just like make some copy, like make some sentences and send it his way. Did I know she would be so iconic, I guess is the question you're saying?
I think so, yeah.
To me, the booking of that role was iconic. My mom is a Trekkie. I used to go to sleep watching TNG with her in her bed. And my father would have to summer with his work for like 2 to 3 months out of the year. I come from a salesman produce family.
Right.
And so they would go and move to West Texas from South Texas, where I'm from, to be there for the harvest, you know. And my mother, my sister, and I would all like sleep over in my mom's room when my dad was gone for those 2 months. So I remember explicitly like this vivid memory of just like catching up on TNG with her, because we would watch that to fall asleep. So all things Star Trek, it's a big deal in my family. Even like I haven't shared this yet at cons or any kind of interviews yet, and I forget about this detail too. Because of that, Philip was, I think, because when the Star Trek Lower Decks auditions began, which was all super code, you knew it was Mike McMahon. And then the text and the auditions for Tawny's role, Mariner, were all like buzzing. I had one callback for that. I was like, Philip, I think this is Star Trek. My husband, I was like, Philip, I think this is Star Trek. And he's like, really? And I was like, no, I think this is a big deal. And then like the audition was for Tawny's role, it was like, read the script there. You can't take it with you. You have to sign an NDA. And then here are the sides. And then like, this will self-destruct after you walk out of the room. You know, like nothing can be, you can't have any proof that you were here. So Philip, because of that audition, Philip was like, I want to watch Star Trek. So we started like OG, like full on original series, took it from the top, and then we burned through all of TNG together. And so I got to watch it again in my adulthood. So during that time, yes, I played a few roles here and there. There was like this one ensign that got killed during a holodeck moment, and then I played one computer line, and then Castro was born, the thriller that she is. She's such a snob. I adore her. And when T'Lyn came through, I called my parents, and this was a nice phone call. It's like when Broadway called. I'm a Broadway broad. I did Broadway for 10 years. And though it was really fun to call my parents and say I booked a Broadway show, you know, like, because I had to tell them, I was like, you can't ask me about auditions anymore because I'm not going to book it most of the time. So it's going to drive me nuts. And my dad's like, why not? Like, what happened? What'd they say? And I'm like, I don't know, Dad. I don't know. And so like that conversation of spiraling into chaos, I forbid it. I forbid it from my parents, our conversations in general. Like it couldn't be casual anymore. Like it just always had to be a big deal. The actor's life of letting people know when you do something versus the millions and millions of times in comparison of when you don't get the booking. But this one was a big deal. It's Star Trek, baby.
Oh, that is like, I can well imagine just the glee, you know. Just buzzing and also, I mean, because on top of everything else, it's like, hey, great, I've got a job. That's nice, you know.
First of all, a job for sure. But just for the record, I don't know if people know this, but T'Lyn is a guest star. She's not a leading on paper role. Her dynamic, her magic, her writing, you know, the writers of the show, Mike, you know, everybody that has made, including myself, who has made T'Lyn, has made her who she is, and it worked beautifully. And some people also know me from a CW show called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And Valencia, the role that I play, this is an on-camera role. She has the same scenario. It's the same scenario in my career where it was a guest star that became a really magical dynamic with the leading players, and also a straight man in the show where she is, I mean, one of her famous lines in one of her first episodes was like, oh, I don't like humor. You were making a joke. Oh, I don't like humor. And like, that's T'Lyn, you know? And so like, is that my niche? Yes, I would say so. I'm very proud to play the straight man in all the chaos of comedy. It's really, really fun to do. And this is the same thing. So she's a guest star that is very magical and had a, you know, I know we got canned this year. Spoiler for everyone that doesn't know that. I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you know that already. That Lower Decks got let go. But you know, she's. I think her star is just rising, and Star Trek is forever.
Well, that's very true. It's funny as well that you're saying, so on paper, she's a guest star. And I think Star Trek has sort of a history of characters who they actually appear far fewer times than you think and have such a massive impact on fandom. I mean, Q would be a great example of that.
Oh,
he's
Q,
actually not in as many episodes as we think, or at least until Picard. And then of course Kai Wynn as well. When we were discussing Louise Fletcher before, she's only in something like 14 episodes and plays one of the most memorable villainous characters. I mean,
Absolutely.
And I think Tillin, who is of course not a villain unless there's some hard turn coming in season 5, she was a Romulan the whole time.
Could you imagine?
Do you know Mike McMahon? I could imagine that.
Let the Reddit fly. That's a fun little twist of possibility.
I mean, because I know that over the years they've flirted with ideas of taking a Vulcan character and adding a twist like that. I think there was plans for T'Pol. There was going to be there was of course the original script for Wrath of Khan. Savick was, and they just never quite got there. So Tillin could be the one.
Oh, she could. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Oh, well, I mean, we definitely will stay tuned. I don't want this to be a sad topic, but can you talk about the feeling of getting the news to go,
yeah,
season 3, this is it?
Oh my God, I cried. Absolutely. It was so disappointing. It was so disappointing. I mean, there's just such wonderful conversations every time we're recording of how much we love doing it, what can happen, what the possibilities are. And, as a thespian, as an artist, as a performer, you just always have to ride the hope and be present at the same time and enjoy it. And I just had some wonderful conversations with some of the team about where Tillin can go and where we could see this kind of art coming up. And we were just getting started with Tillin. But I have to say, it was really nice. It was really nice to feel like Mike McMahon took the time to tell me. He didn't have to. He's a busy man. And I'm also, again, like not one of the series regulars of the show. But he did try to message me on Twitter, which is now X. And I still, you know what? Here's a confession. Here's a really funny confession. I still haven't upgraded my app of X, and so I still have Twitter for the record.
Nice. I like that.
I still have a little blue bird, which is why I still say Twitter. And I got a text from my voiceover agent with the article that we got canned. And I was like, oh, and we just were going out for like a film festival that evening. We just got the babysitter there, and I was just gonna whip, tornado in the house and then leave. Like we were like setting up to leave, and I told Philip, I was like, I need a minute. Why don't you go in, say hi to our babysitter, and just like get her going in there, and I'm gonna see what's going on online, And then I saw Mike's text like, hey, please call me. I want to give you some news. And that was the day before. So he wanted to at least give me a warning, which was so nice. And so I did call him, and we had a really nice conversation. And I cherish that for the rest of my life. I've always admired his work. I admired working with him. And again, just like Tillin, this is just the beginning.
Absolutely as well. And I mean, as far as I can see, Mike McMahon is not slowing down when it comes to creating shows. So I mean, kind of like, hey, do you remember when we worked together so well on Star Trek? You
bet. Are you kidding me? Of course my pitch was real hard at the end. I was like, and just so you know, I'm free.
Absolutely, and we'll do our bit as well. We'll continue because we have a series called Ups and Downs here on the channel, and generally, kind of Tillin isn't in an episode, it becomes a down. So like that's our feeling. We're going to go through season 5. Well, hopefully it won't happen. Say Tillin wasn't in it. That's a down. That's a down for this episode. So we'll do that.
But TV is evolving on like what is it? There aren't any even Young Sheldon wrapped, huge shows. It's so different past the pandemic of what streaming is and what it's actually going to become, and where these networks are putting their money and how they want to add subscriptions and stuff like that. The politics behind it all. Sure, I understand it. It doesn't benefit me because I would love endless amounts of Tillin stories. And then endless amounts of Lower Deck stories, but Tillin first.
Oh, I mean, don't worry, we're right there with you.
We're pretty
right.
biased. I think I recorded Castro in 2020, like her first like thespian meeting with Boimler, and I feel like Mike was in the room.
Okay.
Mike was in the room, so that must have been 2020 before the world shut down, and then we took long breaks, and then Talin came around in 2021 because I remember Mike being on Zoom for that with the producers, and we were like curating her and creating her and like really like taking time with Wedge Douche that episode.
God, I love that episode so much.
I mean, she saves the show, just like Gabrielle as on Broadway. Like she saves the show.
I'm sure this gets said to you all the time.
She saves space.
Yes, that's it. We're all like, kind of like the Klingons. Yes, they were worrying. I mean, like the Pakleds. What an inspiredly brilliant, stupid villain. I love it. They're awful and yet they're brilliant.
Oh.
But we were tears of laughter. How out of control you were. You're just, what has gotten into you this week? Like, an eyebrow would
control.
Oh my God. Like, oh.
I went back in for that audition. I went back in the next morning in my closet because the recording I did that night, right now it's 9:00 and my time on the East Coast in America when I'm having this interview with you. So this is the time when I'm like auditioning for voiceovers. Like this is the time stamp of the night. And I remember sending it to my agents, the audition cut. And then I told my husband, I was like, it's not right. It's not right. It's not Spock enough. Like, it's just like, I know what it needs to sound like. I know what it needs to sound like, and it's not coming out of my mouth yet. And I got to get the right rhythm. I got to get the right emphasis on the right syllable and the right shade, and then it's also Mike McMahon comedy. So like we have to find comedy in a non-emotional, species. And so like it has to be correct. And I went in the next morning and I did it again. And I'm so glad that I did it because here we are.
Is that doing it again and then still sending only the one, or do you get to send two?
I'm pretty sure I just emailed my agent. I was like, don't send that one. Just let me do it one more time. Gotcha. And then they waited. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because like, I think there's that moment where I might be jumping forward in an episode, just, kind of, she clenches her fist and like for a Vulcan, that's like she's doing cartwheels, But
the whole shade, she quotes a Spock, in that first episode. And I could tell it was a dynamic equivalent, or at least I went with the decision that it was an equal dynamic of Captain Freeman with her daughter, with Mariner. And that's what I decided. I was like, I remember there was a moment in the season before she was like, don't you do that. Don't you do that. And she's like, kind of like flipping her off with like live long and prosper signs. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's what I'm going to take. I'm going to make sure she is like kind of like a Vulcan Mariner where she is out of control, So I think I guessed right. Because with voiceover auditions, you literally shoot it out to outer space with a guess, a very bold guess. And when it comes back, it is 100% accurate what they want. So it's when you book it, it's really good for the ego because they're like, great, let's move on to the next line. You're like, great, no, it's great.
Like, excellent. Nailed it.
Every single time. But there are some episodes coming up in the next season that I'll say I do like play some other characters. And I told Brad Winters, the producer that always runs my recordings, I'm like, if you guys want to recast this, it's totally fine. I think this is terrible.
It's definitely not terrible, but now that everyone will be like, because the closing credits, that's when you get the names. Now we're going to be like listening out really, really carefully. All right, okay, let's go. Right, who are we playing? And someone's going to be like, No, I think she nailed it. No, she nailed it.
No, and so we just did a little bit of like, edits here and there, like a few lines here, there were a few grunts here and there. We just did some ADR, and I was like, oh, you still kept that character for me? I'm flattered. Like, I thought it was terrible. I will not be offended if you recast this.
Is this where you confirm that you're playing Picard in the next season? And giving us your best Patrick
Spoiler, spread the rumor, guys. Spread it.
Oh, that is right. That's
I
half
expect
of what
this
we
to
do.
be online. Me and Patrick Stewart on the same article. Goals.
Oh, that would be that. I'll be next to Peabody Awards. It'll be you and him accepting the award.
I guess I'll show up. If he's there, fine. I'll be there.
I know. So that's the requirement. Okay, cool. So we just have to get get Patrick. That's grand. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Get him to read a sonnet to me. Oh, I'm all fine with that. Did you see those Instagrams of him reading like Shakespeare? They're so good.
Yeah. It's funny when you think back to it now, how much time I lived online in 2020, 2021. And like, I'm glad that my job is based online, because that is seriously psychologically concerning how much time I spent online watching things like that.
I know.
What can you tell us about season 5? Nothing, I presume, but what can you tell us about season 5?
What I can tell you about season 5 is it's the same old trope of like, we recorded such a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'm not trying to keep stuff from you. I just have no idea what's going on.
I have no memory of it, no recollection of it. And here's what's also a double negative for any Lower Deck fans always pining for this answer. We don't memorize anything.
Of course.
So we get this really fun luxury of play without that pressure. And so it's a totally different style of acting, and so it goes in one ear and out the other. I mean, I do care as an actor. I promise I do the work. But at the same time, voiceover is just like, I think I really know what's going on more when I actually, this sounds like a terrible actor, when I read the script.
So I tried this new thing, right?
What a concept when I read the script. But, and I only read the scripts that Talin are in, okay? Like nobody,
well, that makes sense.
Anybody else. But what happens? I have to like think about it. Like we probably recorded. Oh, okay. I can say this now that I'm like pulling it out of my brain. The guest star list is sick. Okay. And then, the people that are coming in that said yes to do it. Like I'm just like squealing for everybody to find out. And then there's some additional good like girl hang again with
Brilliant.
And Mariner and Tendi. Yeah, there's some they did it, they let us have that again, which in a very, very different situation. And I think that episode is all, and that I'm saying that all happens in that same episode, and I can't wait for that specific episode to air because I think it's the best one.
Okay,
It's written the best. The guest star list is the best. The dynamic of us, us trio girls like going doing the thing is so much fun.
Okay, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited now that I remembered.
I'm so torn because I can't wait to watch it, but I don't want it to end. But I can't wait to watch it.
You never know. You never know, right? Everyone kind of like has a chance to do a movie. We'll see.
I think so as well. I mean, look, I'm not suggesting that it's cheap. It's not, but I think it would be relatively more straightforward. I might be talking out of my arse here, but it might be relatively more straightforward.
That's showbiz, kids.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, and it'll turn around like, kind of, oh, okay, well, it turns out everyone hated season 5. That was the end of it. Then like, that's definitely not going to happen.
No wonder they canned us. Paramount was like, nah.
Oh, I think we all know what Paramount's doing. Paramount's like, okay, we're going to take more money and send it towards the Academy. Which, by the way, having seen the cast list, I'm just like, okay, I get it now.
I know.
And there's absolutely no question in my mind that Talin would make a fantastic holographic instructor at the Academy in the 32nd century. Just saying. There's ways and means.
Oh my gosh. Guys, fans, get into it. Put a plane over Paramount with that sign on there, guys. Isn't that what they did?
I suppose, now I'm not expecting an answer to this one, but ye didn't know doing season 5, of course, it was something a bit like Discovery, and then Discovery went back and did an additional scene. Any whiff of that for Lower Decks?
I don't think like on paper, but I just last week went in for, like I said, additional dubbing recording, like just additional lines, you know, here and there, some grunts and whatnot. So I was able to talk to Brad about it, and you know, he's like, oh, you'll come in for some more ADR. So at least us on our end as the actors and as the creators and the producers, we get to kind of have our moment of revel, you know, of reminiscing and reveling, and also enjoying for the little bit that we have left of piecing some stuff together. So it's not, last week was not my last session ever, which was
that's nice. Okay, that's
so
yeah,
maybe
that's
like
nice.
1 or 2 more times for 30 minutes, but at the same time, it's what we have, and I'm so glad that I'm so glad that does happen. You know, that's happening, because should last fall had been my last recording session, I would have been really sad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I enjoy every moment of it.
I love that as well, and also I can't wait. You know, you'll get the call to come in and be like, why does this script say the movie? What's all right? Okay, I'm not familiar with these. That's quite a large script for a 20-minute episode.
That'd be so fun.
Yes.
I'm not a writer, so I hope somebody writes it.
Yeah, Mike McMahon, I know you're watching. No. I think generally the I think to a person the reaction has been, we're not ready, and I think that is because of how much we've enjoyed the show. It's so good.
I know, I agree.
Gabrielle, thank you so much for your time. You are an absolute star.
Oh, I'm so glad we're friends. It was so lovely to meet you and your partner. You guys were delightful. I was like, can we get a picture?
It's
like, no,
that's actually true. Normally you're just like, you know, Sean, did you just pester her for a picture? No, she honestly, she wouldn't shut up. She wouldn't leave me alone.
I wouldn't. Once I got food in me, oh my God, that 6 p.m. moment, everybody was like, you know, you're like convention all day, and then they're like making you sit and eat. Not making you, but like it's scheduled. So like, let's sit down, and we're all waiting for the food. Do you remember that buffet line? Like everyone just like, woo.
Honest to God, I think I saw Ethan Phillips drop kick someone just to get to the bread rolls. Like it was just like, and I don't blame him for 1 second.
I was like first in line too, because we were like in the sun. We were in the sun table, but we were right next to the buffet table. So we
perfect seating. I will say that.
Earned that first go around at the buffet.
Really, I mean, we did. Let's be fair. We did. Everyone else 100%. Less than important. No, everyone else loved
it. Fascinating. This is Gabrielle Ruiz, and you are watching TrekCulture.
That's it. That's the one. It's just a little. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, can I just write like 20 more scripts for like Lower Decks and just send it to, and just till in, just monologue till in.
I'm sure it's out there. I mean, you could definitely fantasy that shit.
Like 100%. Like I'd say, and Mike seems like the kind of guy who'd be pretty cool about it as well. He'd just be like, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he reads them all.
Thank you so much for watching this abbreviated version of this podcast. Now, if you go to our audio platforms, you will get the full version of this podcast with this guest. So we really, really appreciate you subscribing to that, and you're just awesome and wonderful. Thank you so much.